Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How y'all doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing another haul in retrospect here on my channel, which is where I go through the things that I hauled in at approximately this time last year and talk to you about my thoughts and opinions on them, whether I still have them in my collection, whether I've decluttered them, whether I've even used them or not, and tell you how I feel about them. I do this because I use all of my makeup, but sometimes I don't review everything. Most of the time I don't review everything. I am a palette review channel, but I don't review all the makeup products. And sometimes if I just like things so-so, I don't talk about them again. So I don't like to haul things in and then not come back out here to talk to you about how I feel about the product. So I started doing these hauls in retrospect. They are about what I hauled in last year. So you're getting about a year's worth of information from me in terms of how I like the product or no. I hope that sounds like something you're interested in watching. If so, please keep on watching. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high and colorful beauty and self-care, and this that we're doing right here, right now, this is my self-care. I like coming out here and talking to you about the good, the bad, the ugly, all things about the things coming into my collection and rolling out of my collection, and it soothes my soul to be out here talking to you guys about the things that spark joy for me, and I hope that they also spark joy for you. I hope this conversation sparks joy for you, and I hope at the end of the day you'll want to subscribe, because I'm kind of a kick in the pants to hang out with, and I pick you to talk to. I hope you also pick me to listen to and to talk to in the comment section, because I like commenting to the comments in the comment section. So now that that's out of the way, let's jump into this haul in retrospect, where I am going over all the things that I hauled into my collection in my September and October makeup rehab, and the things that I got for my birthday in September of last year. So September is my birth month, so I always bring in a lot in the month of September. I usually go ham in spending all on my own, because I allow myself to purchase whatever I flippin' want to for my birthday. But last year, I started having a lot more of a conscious consumerism mindset when it came to everything. And I really think that my makeup rehab has been the catalyst for a lot more of that mindset, right? Which I think Steph from It's Just Steph for, because she's the one that came up with that video idea. That said, there's still quite a bit on here, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it was gifts that I received for my birthday versus stuff that I purchased for myself. So let's start with the stuff that I talked about in my October makeup rehab, which was the stuff that I purchased in September or got in September, and the gifts that I received. So I purchased 2 fragrances. So I purchased the Sniff Cocoa Shimmy. This was a fragrance brand that was rather new to Ulta at that point in time. For those of you who are new here who don't know, I used to work at Ulta. I was a field leader for them. I got a pretty decent discount, and during certain times of the year got an even better discount. And then of course September is my birthday month, so 2 times points on everything I purchased. So there was a lot of reasons for spending the way I spent previous date. But this is the Sniff Cocoa Shimmy. This is a scent that had been calling my name since it came to Ulta Beauty. I was interested in the fragrance house to begin with because I had heard a lot of great things about Sniff. And I also just really kind of like the simplicity of the component. It looks just really easy. I love the magnetic top, so your top isn't getting lost. And honestly, it smells good. It is a really great fragrance that does have kind of those cocoa nuts. I cannot remember, honestly, what all the top notes, bottom notes are. So I'm going to look it up, because I am the worst at trying to describe things, especially fragrances. So this Sniff Cocoa Shimmy is supposed to smell like a coconut, pineapple, sunscreen, surf wax, sandalwood, and tonka bean. I think that it really does have a nice, like, kind of like roasted coconut kind of flavor to, or scent to it. It says it's a premium, high quality ingredient product that's non-toxic, clean, vegan, cruelty-free, and made without parabens, phthalates, preservatives, and synthetic dyes. I don't know what surf wax smells like, but I definitely think this epitomizes vacation. It smells so good. I've used it several times. It's actually the fragrance that I wore to my son's wedding in October. You can't even tell that I've used it. It still looks really, really full, but I have used it on occasion. I don't like use it all the time, but I don't use fragrance all the time anyways, and I have a ton of fragrances to choose from. The other one that I picked up is actually a fragrance oil, and it is the Nest Balinese Coconut Perfume Oil. And I was interested in Nest in and of itself because everything that I've smelled from Nest smells so, so good. These fragrance oils are a little bit different because you massage them into your wrist, I call these your elbows, the opposite side of your elbow, the inside of your knees, your décolleté, that kind of thing. It's an oil. You can put it anywhere on your body that you want to, but because it's an oil, it has a more concentrated scent flow than it does if it's a spray, right? And it's also supposed to work well with other fragrances in your collection because it's an oil that you massage in versus spray on. I have noticed that when I use it, it helps with some of the other fragrances I have last longer or feel like they last longer, but also it just gives a little bit more of a sweetness or a yumminess to the fragrances that I put on. So this has keynotes of creamy coconut, tropical tiare blossom, salted musk, solar frangipani accord, and it smells again like vacation. I am a person who wants to smell like a snack. I think I've said that 100,000 times. I like those more gourmand scents, but I also like a really good vacation scent, and that is what this brings to mind. I have used it probably 10 or 12 times. Again, you can barely tell. It's an oil. It doesn't take much, and that I think is my favorite part of it, and it lasts forever. Those are so good, and I don't think they're talked about enough, the fragrance oils by Nest. I also purchased this, which is the Origins Ginseng SPF 40 tinted moisturizer. And when I purchased it, I really did have high hopes for it. I really did think I was going to like it. It sits about here. I think I've used quite a bit of it, but I use it in conjunction with something else. I never use it on its own. It is a tinted moisturizer, but the tint that comes across is very Oompa Loompa. Very much the same color as the bottle. So I don't use it on its own. I do have to mix it. I use it a lot in the summer, and I was using it a lot with my Dior Face and Body that I had in my project pan for a majority of the year because it helped to make it a little less deep because it's a tinted moisturizer. So it starts off light in color. It starts off like white. But as you mix it in, it turns very, very orange. Can you guys see that? Maybe you can see it on my fingers. Yeah, it's just not attractive. What I love about this product is it does feel very moisturizing. It had a healthy SPF in it before the SPF expired, which I'm certain it's expired now because it is over a year old. I don't know. It doesn't have an expiration date on it. It doesn't have an expiration date on it, but I know it's likely expired at this point in time. So I don't use it on its own. I love that it smells like oranges. It's very citrusy. It's got that nice ginseng citrus smell to it, which is fantastic. And I love something that smells in that way because it just is like fresh and like breakfast. I like it. I like the product, but I don't like it on its own. I never wear it on its own, which is kind of what I purchased it for. And I definitely wear it more with like skin tints than I do with foundations, because it in of itself too as a moisturizer feels light, but it actually also feels very heavy because it's a moisturizer, so it sticks around, right? So I like it. I've used it. It's okay. I probably wouldn't recommend it though as my favorite tinted moisturizer. Those I purchased with some gift money that I had, but then I also made purchases in the month of September just because I made purchases. One of those being another Too Faced Kissing Jelly lip gloss. I had one in my collection that I had purchased that was the cotton candy one. It was blue and I fell in love with it. So this one I also picked up. It was one that I was thinking about picking up but hadn't picked it up yet. I think that you guys can see I've used about it to here on it. So I have used quite a bit of this product. It sits like this in my lip gloss drawer though, so it doesn't maybe appear that a whole lot of it has been used because the back of it is still clear up to the top. I love the Kissing Jelly lip gloss, probably one of my favorite lip gloss formulas that I have, and the only reason why this one is still kind of around this one and the other one that I have is because they're a little bit more sparkly than I like on my lips from a gloss perspective. They're pretty, but they're definitely sparkly, and I don't tend to sway towards sparkly lip glosses. So that's the only reason why it's probably not empty, because it only took me like 3 months to empty the cotton candy one. And this was one of the palettes that I purchased because I think I said in the video it screamed at me every single time I went past it in the stores. The Too Faced Appley in Love palette that came out for fall that year, and it's a really pretty palette. It did scream to me every single time I walked past it. I do have a review on this palette. It's not a bad palette. It was the first Too Faced palette that I looked sideways at since the Sweet Peach palette. Like up until this palette, Too Faced was not even a brand that interests me at all in terms of eyeshadows. But when they came out with this one, I had to have it. I do have a review on it. It's not a horrible palette. It's just not also my favorite. And then I also purchased 2 Natasha Denona palettes at that point in time too. Both of these also have a review. Actually, this one has a review. This one does not. But this one I have used in a video. And if I mean, it's not called Natasha Denona I Need a Rose or Mini Rose palette review. If I can find the video, I will link it up in the cards for you because I use this in a Get Ready With Me. And I like this palette. It's just a palette that I maybe shouldn't have purchased because it's really light, and therefore not a palette that I'm gonna pull for very often because I don't love these really light tones on myself, which I should have known better. My friend Andy purchased this palette first and then did an eye look with it, sent me the pictures of her eye look, and I was so enamored by her eye look, and sometimes that's all it takes, that I went and purchased the palette too. And I think it's pretty. It's just not a palette that I will wear all that often because of the tones of it. But I like it. Don't get me wrong. I love the brown in that palette because it is truly a deep brown. The other one that I purchased was the I Need a Warm, and this one was the midi size palette. So this one was like, what, 60 something dollars, whereas this one was like 27, I think. 15 pounds of eyeshadow, 15 pounds of warm tones. And I think I said in the video that I reviewed this in is that we could have had warm without it being orange. And I feel like this palette is very orange. Even with all the browns in it, it still leaned like very orange. And I felt like every single eyeshadow look that I got out of this palette looked so similar to one another. This doesn't look like a super one-noted palette, but it is definitely a one-noted palette. So if I was referring people to my most highly recommended Natasha Denona palettes, this one would not be it. Although, this one would come ahead if I need a nude, because I need a nude reminds me a lot of this, which should have been another indicator that I did not need to pick up the Mini Rose palette. Then I went to, again, September purchases are wild, right? Because it's my birthday, and I think that gives me permission to spend all of the money in the world. So I went to another store, and this store had Chanel. So I bought some Chanel stuff. I bought the Chanel Stilo Ombre eye crayons in this one, which is called Nuage Blue, and then this one, which is called Dreamleaf, and they are green and blue eyeshadow sticks. And I think that you guys can see just by the tips of these eyeshadow sticks that, I mean, I haven't used them. I've swatched them, but I haven't used them. I am a fan of eyeshadow sticks, but for whatever reason, I haven't used them on my eyes. These would be really great for one and done eyeshadows. These would be really great for like inner corner eyeshadows because they're light and bright. But I purchased them in September, and they were part of the spring collection from Chanel, and I think that maybe is why. But then the following spring rolls around and I still didn't use them. So I haven't used these. I really can't say much about them. One thing that I did use, though, is this. This is the Le Tarot de Chanel blush in lavender, and it's got like a tarot card. Can you guys even see the tarot cards in there? It's got like a tarot card imprint in there. I will say that the imprint is it's really soft, I think, imprint, and it's nearly gone because I have used this quite a bit. I actually purchased it, brought it into my collection after the Chanel girl was like, I don't think that one will look good on you. You should buy it was kind of like a terracotta colored one. And I'm like, yeah, but I like this one better. So I'm going to buy this one, even though it might not look good. I went back and forth with whether I was going to use it as a blush or an under eye powder or face powder all over my face. And, you know, as it turns out, it's actually a really pretty blush. You have to wear it with certain things. Like, I think it would be a perfect blush to go with this top that I'm wearing. It actually shows up on my face quite pink, which is thrilling to me because it's very, very lavender. I do like how it just makes my skin, it just makes my face come alive. I don't know. There's something about it that makes my skin look healthier than not when I am wearing it. I really did think it was going to make me look dead, but I rolled it into a deck of panning and ended up using it quite a bit in that deck of panning project. And I rolled it in because I'm like, I think it was a fantasy self prompt, and I rolled it in for that reason, along with another blush that I'll talk about here in a second. And I had like 2 times use on each one of those blushes, but I used this one so many more times than twice. And then the last thing that I purchased in the month of September was these 3 blushes also. And this one is the other blush that I rolled in with that Chanel one into my deck of panning because, again, it's a purple blush. These are the Fenty Cheeks Suede powder blushes, and this one is in Drama Class, and it's a very purple, but it is very pretty. And what I love about these suede blushes is they have, I think that you can see, they have kind of this luminosity to them. And when I first started getting luminous blushes, I was not a fan, but you know, as I've aged, I like the luminous blushes a lot better than just plain old matte blushes because they bring a level of life to your face that you're not getting with a matte blush. This one is in Summertime Wine, and this one is in Lollipoppy, which is a really corally coral. And the funny thing is did I need all 3 of these? No, there were probably 7 shades. I ended up purchasing 3 because I couldn't decide between these 3. and then I swatched them to try and make that decision easier, and they just looked so pretty together that I couldn't split them up. I couldn't do it. Look at this purple one. Isn't that just pretty? That's just pretty. It's got a nice level of like blue duochrome-esque to it. Like, they're just pretty. I have used those blushes so many times. I can't even tell you, and I'm super happy to have them in my collection. So then I got some gifts. I did get like 2 Sephora gift cards, I think, and then, which is what I purchased some of this stuff with. And then I got a gift from my daughter that she actually got out of her BoxyCharm that didn't suit her, so she gave it to me as a birthday gift. And then I got something from the love of my life as a birthday gift. So the gift from my small daughter, my youngest daughter, was this, and this is the Misho Beauty. I think it says Misho, although maybe it's Misha, I don't know, because I think it's Misho with an O. This is a contour stick, and it's in the shade medium, and it was far too dark for her, but on me it looks really, really great. So she gave it to me as a birthday present because she feels some sort of way that she's, you know, a teenager and doesn't have a very new teenager and doesn't have money to purchase gifts. I don't know why. So this is what she gave to me for my birthday. It came out of her BoxyCharm. I also, with the 2 gift cards that I received, one from my mom, one from my daughter, purchased the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk bronzer, which is this one here. Not my favorite bronzer, but it is a beautiful bronzer. It isn't my favorite because this one is in 90, which was supposed to be the most neutral of the shades, but I still find that it pulls very warm on my skin, and I like more of a neutral to cool tone bronzer on my skin. I feel like my skin just looks way too orange when I've got too much warmth going on my face. So not my favorite bronzer, but it is a beautiful bronzer to wear in certain circumstances. I just have to be careful with what I'm pairing it with as far as a blush and like an eyeshadow look goes. So I have to think about using that blush or that bronzer quite a bit. And then I also picked up this, which is the Yummy Skin, Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. This is just a mini, and I got this because I wanted to try it, and I'm glad I got it because I'm just not 100% sure about it still to this day. Like, I've used it a couple times, but I mostly use it as a primer, not a balm powder, because I just don't understand the balm powder stuff to it. I do like this as a primer. I think it's a beautiful thing to put on my face and kind of like airbrush my face. It really does a great job of blurring your skin, so I really like that. And then I picked up 2 palettes with that gift card set, and one was the Danessa Myricks Groundwork Defining Neutrals palette, which is the neutrals version of like her Blooming Romance palette, and it's got powders and pomades of every shade in here. So a really cool palette idea. Smells great, works great. It's just not a color story that I 100% love. So again, probably not my favorite thing in my collection, but I love Danessa Myricks. And I love that I have matte options from her, because most of what I have are her Lightwork palettes, and those are definitely not mattes. And this is the Lightwork 6 Freedom palette, and I picked up this also with that money that I received in gift card form for my birthday from both my mother and my oldest daughter. I love this palette. I could not be happier with this palette and want to get the new one that she came out with this year if I can. So those were the gifts from the gift cards that my mom and my daughter got me. And then the love of my life purchased for me these 3 palettes from Ensley Rain, because it was a brand that I was really interested in purchasing from, really interested in trying out, and hadn't purchased from them yet because their palettes are kind of expensive. But I got Groovy Garden, Cold Moon, and Lands of Enchantment. I have done videos, review videos on each one of these palettes and each one of the Danessa Myricks palettes that I just talked about. All the palettes, actually, except for one in this video, I have done reviews on. So I will link my palette roulette playlist up in the cards for you, so you'll be able to go and visualize these reviews. They are beautiful palettes. I would say that this one is probably my favorite of the three. It's just so interesting and unique to my palette collection. And it is pastels without being gross white-based pastels, to be honest. I love also that it's got those deeper tones and some periwinkles versus like straight up blues. There are some shades in here that I don't love, but for the most part, I love every single shadow that I have encountered using with Inslee Rain. These were so exciting to me to get as a gift. So that is everything that I got in September that I reviewed in October. And then my makeup rehab in November went over all the things that I got in October. And in October, I didn't get a lot as far as me purchasing, but I did get quite a few things also in gratis. So Benefit did this thing where they would send out like codes that their arch experts could use twice a year to get, I think it's $300 in gratis. And one of my account managers that I partnered with gave me a code for a person that was no longer with us in that capacity. So I was able to get $300 worth of gratis. So if you had asked me 2 months ago, I would have swore that this was something that I picked up in January, not in October, but there's that. First things first, I did get this. This is the Professional Hydra Pop. This is a hydrating and smoothing pore essence. I love this stuff. I use it almost every day. I feel like it doesn't go super fast. Like, it's currently in my deck of panning. We started at this top place and we're right here right now, and like I use it every day. I feel like it does what it's supposed to do. It's very good at hydrating the skin. I feel good putting it on my skin. I feel like it does wonders for my pores. I think is what I'm going after. And I don't struggle with enlarged pores or anything like that, and I do struggle with, you know, texture because of aging skin. I feel like this does due diligence to like curb that from being more apparent on my skin. I love this. This was like $80 of that money. I'm really glad I like it as much as I do, but I probably wouldn't repurchase it. I also got 2 new blushes. I got Starlet and Pom Pom. I think these completed my Benefit box blush collection. I love the box blushes. I think that they're great. This Starlet one is a little bit more of a brownie, like almost really good for summer for my skin tone shade, and this one is a lot of a like a more berry tone, kind of like a pomegranate. I think that's why it's called Pom Pom, and it does have pictures of pomegranates on it. That's what it kind of reminds me as far as the shade goes. It does look a lot deeper in real life than it does on the camera, but it is beautiful, and you can basically tone down these blushes really easily. They're real easy to use, so I got those. I got 2 eyeliners. The roller eyeliner from Benefit is a really good eyeliner. I love it from a liquid liner perspective. So I got black and brown. Brown is the one that I currently have in use, and then black is not yet open in my collection. I know it's been in my collection for a year, but these are good for quite some time until you open them. So there's that. I did get one of these as well. This, I believe, is not the one that I received in gratis, but this is the product that I received in gratis. So this is the Bad Gal Bang in the burgundy shade. I can't remember if it's called burgundy or berry or what it's called, but this is a wonderful colored mascara. I love Bad Gal Bang mascara in the first place. It's one of my favorites. But I specifically love the colored ones. The blue and that burgundy are fantastic. And then I got 2 eyebrow pencils. This one is the Precisely My Brow in the shade gray. And then this one is the Gimme Brow Plus Volumizing Pencil, also in the shade gray. This one is really good for precision, and this one is really good for volumizing. I have used both of them in conjunction with each other, but currently I'm using this one, and then we'll then go to this one to use. This one takes for flipping ever to get through. So if you're looking for a good bang for your buck volumizing pencil to use, it would be this one. This one is also a sharpenable, and this one is retractable. So I don't know if that has anything to do with why this one lasts for flipping ever or no. But those are the products that I received in gratis. And then I also purchased some things in October as well. One being the Natasha Denona Roxa palette. This palette is a beautiful purple pink palette. I love this so much. This shade right here specifically is such a beautiful, like, sparkly periwinkle shade that is just unique and unexpected in this palette. So really love this palette. I struggled with a couple of shades. I think this one here I struggled with just because of the shade of it. I think that's the only one actually that I struggled with in this palette, but otherwise I truly love this palette. I do have a review on this palette as well. And then I picked up 5 palettes from Cosmic Brushes, which was a indie brand that I had interest in that I had not purchased anything from in the past. They were having a sale, and they had restocked Serenity, which was the reason why I was purchasing from them. And they're across the pond. I wanted to make sure that I got, you know, everything that I wanted. So they got, if I had to pay shipping, it was going to be well worth it. So I did just that. This one right now is the only one that I haven't used. And this one will probably be my like December-ish time frame palette, Roulette palette, because it just reminds me of winter. So I haven't used this one yet. This one is Cool Trolls. This is the newest of the ones that I have in terms of like when it was launched, I believe. Maybe actually Undergrowth is, but this one is the only one I haven't used. Serenity I have used. It honestly was the reason for my purchase at Cosmic Brushes, but not my favorite of the Cosmic Brushes palettes that I picked up. This one was very green leaning and kind of disjointed in my humble opinion. A lot more green leaning and disjointed than it appeared or than I thought it was going to be, honestly. So wasn't my favorite palette overall, but I did like it a lot. Undergrowth was the secondary reason for my purchase. Green is my favorite color. This is the Undergrowth palette. I had to have it. I had to have it. And I do like this palette, and I did not review it with Yucca, but I did mention in my review of it that I would recommend this one before Yucca. Not because I don't like Yucca. I absolutely like Yucca. And not because these palettes are so similar that they could dupe each other, but because this one is cheaper and you get 5 more shades, and it is great quality and I think more beginner friendly than Yucca. And then my friend Melissa, which I will link her video up in my cards, she just did a Yucca Undergrowth comparison video that was spot on. I feel like it was exactly what I said in my review, in my little blurb about the 2 palettes together. I purchased Muse, which looks like this. This one I actually didn't think I was going to like as much as Serenity, but I like this one more than Serenity, as crazy as that is. It's a little bit disjointed as well, but I feel like it's a lot more user-friendly in terms of partnering shades with each other, and there's not like one note. It's not a one-noted palette or not a majority of palette. Like, I feel like there's a lot of variety in that palette versus the Serenity palette. And then I also picked up Winter Wonderland, and this one was the first of the ones that I reviewed because I reviewed it last December. And that is what this one looks like, and it is just so pretty. So this one's like the bright winter, whereas Cool Trolls is like the deep, moody winter, in my humble opinion, as far as color stories go. So I reviewed this one last December, and I loved it. I love this palette. Even the pastels in this palette, which I don't typically love pastels, but even the pastels in this palette I really did like. So that is the end of it. That is what I picked up in October, what I picked up in September, and what I got as gifts in September for my birthday. So, I mean, overall, I'm really happy to say that I've only not used one palette in the whole gamut of what I have in palettes in the 2 months of haul. I mean, because ultimately there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 palettes in 2 months. And I've only not used one. So I'm happy to say that that is true. I'm also happy to say that I have used every product in here except for those Chanel Stilos. And of all the products to not use, I guess eyeshadow sticks are, you know, something that I'm not using all the time anyways. So I have a good excuse for that, right? I guess. I am happy, honestly, with the outcome of this haul in retrospect, because we've had many a haul in retrospect where I haven't used 90% of what I'm talking about, and that's just damn embarrassing. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've used any of these products and what your thoughts are on them. I would love to hear from you down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit your girl up, because I like having our conversations down there. And let me know what you think of my thoughts on these products. If you have them and you think differently, I would enjoy hearing that banter as well, or having that banter as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you and yours are well. I hope that you are all safe and healthy and getting along as best that you can. I hope that you're all loving each other, being kind humans, and living your best life. And until next time, bye friends.